Hi there. I'm really excited. I'm linking to when.
Hello.
Mhm. I'll let you know when we're there.
Okay.
Okay. What's been going on with both of you this week?
Oh, I've been in Buffalo, and I'll tell you, frankly, I actually liked Buffalo. I don't know if you guys have been, but I was pleasantly surprised. I've been once or twice before. I quite like the architecture. There's a lot of history in that city.
Nice. Is it a big city?
Well, not really. I mean, certainly not compared to like New York or LA, but I was pleasantly surprised. And also it's a big hockey town. So I was there for hockey. So it was, that's a good time.
How many days did you spend there?
It was faster to drive to Buffalo for me than it is to see my son at Western, like at a university. So it was only 2.5 hour drive, and I just went straight to Niagara Falls, drove across the border, and boom, I was right there. It was lovely. I got home at about 11-ish last night, and I am in full-on production mode today. I have so many exciting things to talk about, and I don't know if we're starting yet or not.
No, I'm just connecting now.
Oh, okay, great.
And I've been to Buffalo for hockey. I think that's the reason we go everywhere when it
Yeah.
comes to these arenas.
Well, it's funny. I went for my son's hockey, and news in our family is my cousin's daughter is engaged to a Buffalo Sabre. And so he actually was so we got there on Wednesday. On Wednesday night, he was in Toronto playing against the Maple Leafs. And then he didn't get rostered for the Pittsburgh game, which was, Tuesday night. Anyways, long story short is my cousin's daughter's fiance came to the arena and watched my son and his team play yesterday. And it was very exciting. People around were very excited to see, an NHLer at this OJHL showcase. So it was very fun. Hockey world is an interesting one, but there are some really great people in it. And I like the good people.
And there's plenty. And
yeah.
It's interesting you talk before we jump on this. Hi, everybody. Haley won't be joining us. She'll be back next week. She's traveling today. She's been doing a wonderful mastermind somewhere. And you know how we feel about masterminds. We love them. I'm very, very excited to hear about her time. She's with her daughter and son today on her way home. So she's living it up. And, I can say that while we played hockey, and Karen, your son played hockey with the same, like an owner of an NHL teams was there at our hockey games. And sometimes I feel bad for these people with fame and they're well known because they lose something that I value more than anything: freedom. They walk in and they want to watch their child play hockey or their cousin, and somebody wants their signature. And it's like they're there just simply to watch their own. I can make me cry because they're wonderful about it. And the really great people, they recognize that they have an obligation for their success, an obligation. Yeah. And I think any of our close friends that you've been out with, and if you're sitting for dinner and somebody comes to the dinner table, they're going to be polite. And I'm going to say, I never want to be in that position. You really do sacrifice a lot. And I don't use that word easily. I'm about investment, not sacrifice. But what other word can you use when somebody has inherited success beyond, like wealth, beyond any number people imagine, and still remain kind, but yet they're missing moments that may be very important. So I want to celebrate all those people and those families that recognize the obligation and steal the moments they get for their own life. So
I love that you said that, to steal the moments that you get, because sometimes that's what it's about. This crazy world that we're always so busy. Taking time sometimes to choose the things that are important is not always an option. I mean, in my family, my husband recently missed something that was very important, a very big milestone, and it was too bad, but it wasn't something that he had a choice in at that moment. It all just kind of happened that way. And so no matter how rich and famous you are, sometimes there are those little sacrifices.
Yeah.
And it,
Yeah.
Take it
so
in
on,
stride.
on that note, we talk about Napoleon Hill really recognized that, by the way, because when he interviewed, and I think I've said that before, but in studying and hearing him, that was one of the things in interviewing over 500 people that were financially wealthy, right? And great success financially. However, we talk about vision mapping at Sage Navigation, and it's all about the balance. It's about, you know, all areas of your life, and they've missed that sometimes. So for self-confidence formula, because that's the chapter we're on, maybe we want to get to the third step. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, I can read the self-confidence formulas. You know what? Maybe I should start actually with step 1. So the self-confidence formula, first step, and I am reading straight out of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich for anybody who wants to know what we're talking about.
Karen, before you launch in, can I just remind everybody that's joining us that we are Katherine, Karine, and Karen from Sage Navigation. We are a team that supports those that are on their journeys to find their best life, but we have some specializations in vision mapping, and Katherine and Karen are both authorities with in the Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. So that's what our focus is here today. We're focusing on the third step of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
So the third step of the self-confidence formula, which can be found in the chapter on faith. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. The second step is, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. And today, we are talking about step 3. I know through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence.
I have to add, you know what, as I do this, only having read the book for the last, whatever, more than 35 years, some things come so natural, and you look at them and you adapt them. So when somebody gives you a formula, I say, how does that work for you? How does it feel? And how do you want to adapt it? But before you can adapt something, you got to at least try it. And it's like you tell your children, now try the asparagus. Oh, mommy, I don't really like that. They look like trees or broccoli, right? Well, just try it. Maybe you'll like it. And try it again. And then when you don't like it, say, well, what part don't you like? Are you going to throw away all green vegetables because you don't like asparagus? Like, wait a minute. What part don't you like? And that's what these really look like. But I think so importantly right now, when I look at these steps and confidence, I'm aware that it's in taking action. And that's why vision mapping works. Because what you do is, I don't have a goal. I don't know what I want. I don't know my main purpose. Okay. And what's your point? Well, you know, we're supposed to have a goal. Absolutely, you have to have a goal. But you know what? Do you not have a goal when you've gone to bed and woke up and go to the bathroom to brush your teeth in the morning? You had a goal to brush your teeth. It's a little goal, but it's a goal. And while you're going to brush your teeth, I mean, I was speaking with Karine and Karen just recently today. And what are we saying? We're talking about something I thought I understood. only to know it better in another way. So what I think from my perspective, I want to share, don't worry about the big goal, but make sure you're working on something and you're taking action, because confidence is going to come from taking action on something.
And sometimes doing those little goals will help to clarify what the big goal is, because sometimes you don't always see that big picture. You know, I think it was Dr. Martin Luther King that said, don't worry about the whole staircase, just take the first step. So sometimes that big, I'm not sure, am I right that it was Martin Luther King? Okay. That big thing at the top, if you can't really see what it is, you're going to be fine-tuning along the way to say, oh, okay, I thought that I wanted to teach, but it turns out that what I really want to teach is I want to teach kids with learning disabilities, just for example. So you start by teaching kids, and then you realize that you're really gifted in certain areas, and that will help you fine-tune your goal and perfect also your trade. So sometimes you don't need the big goal right away, but you will work toward it.
Our community at Sage Navigation knows that I read a book called Ikigai this year, and it really changed and resonated with, it changed my thought processes, and it resonated with me in such a huge and profound way. But what I got out of that was that you don't necessarily have to know your life's purpose to start moving forward. And that was really key for me, because I sort of, and I'm going to use a word Katherine Katherine uses it. I do not care for it. The word stuck, like you don't want to get stuck just because you don't want to not move forward just because you're not sure exactly where you're headed. You just want to start taking small steps in the right direction. And the book of Ikigai and the philosophy of Ikigai is, it will come naturally and organically. You don't have to have all the answers. And I just love that. I just feel like it really, a phrase, Karen, you have used with me, and I love, take some messy action. Just take action, and it's messy maybe, and that's okay. And there's a lot of us, myself included, who was afraid of taking messy action. I thought I had to have it all figured out. I thought I had to have all the answers, and I needed to know exactly what I was doing. And I can tell you, I am living proof of how this formula works. I will get back to that before we finish. I just wanted to mention this formula for a second. Katherine started on it. So a formula, right? For those of us that like math, 2 + 2 = 4. So you try 2 + 2. It didn't quite feel right for me. 1 + 3 = 4 as well.
Great example.
Right? So you have a formula. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill Foundation, they give you formulas that you can use. But back to Katherine's point, you can modify them. They are not necessarily written perfection for you. You try it. You realize actually 1 + 1 + 2 = 4 for me, and for somebody else 1 + 3 = 4. So that is what our message is. You try the formula as it's laid out for you, modify it. Once you start taking those messy action steps, you'll figure it out. It's right in front of you. It's right there.
And you know what? I want to confirm something, because we want to get to the auto suggestion of this. And Karen, I'm going to give you the quote, because I looked it up while we were talking. I took on Karine's role here. Normally she does this. Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step, Martin Luther King. So what happens when you can't take the first step? I don't care what word you want to use. You got that lump in your throat, or you just can't take the first step. You don't even know where to take it to. What happens? Here's fear, right? And faith. But here's the thing. Auto-suggestion. You can gain faith, you can gain self-confidence by programming your subconscious mind. And we only have 3 minutes, so I'm not going to be able to go into this. None of us will, but reach out to us. We'd be glad to have a conversation on it. We'll go into a Zoom, a whole bunch of us, if we find enough people. But here's the thing, auto-suggestion. That's your affirmation. That's the reprogramming of what you want to think. So how do you make an auto-suggestion and an affirmation? How do you do that? That's the important part.
So you have to come up with something, and you have to repeat it to yourself daily. Usually they're suggesting it's going to be twice a day. Okay, and when I say they, I'm talking about in the book and Think and Grow Rich, and there's other books as well. And suggesting it to yourself and repeating it to yourself, and you're going to program your subconscious mind.
I've realized also why this works. And it's not just, I used to think like, oh, come on, you guys, like if I just say it, it's not going to happen. Like I can't just, blind faith and assume that, oh, you know what, I have this goal and I'm just going to say it in the morning 3 times. I'm going to say it at night 3 times, and I click my heels together like, what's it, Wizard of Oz, and right? It's going to come through. But what I realized that when you repeat it to yourself, you are actually giving yourself reminders to keep it top of mind. So as you're going throughout your day, you've already spoken to yourself and given yourself a little message like, don't forget, this is actually what I'm going towards. So it's in front of you. It's there. It's to help you.
And whatever you're moving towards is moving back at you in the same speed.
Right.
And here's the thing that's, I'm going to speak to why I have a vision map, which now my vision map, all of this is so pictured in my mind. I worked really hard because I wanted it. I knew the benefit of it. And I had growth. But here's the thing with an affirmation. If you have balance in all areas of your life, and we'll do that another time, because it's really about you today, you, the listener. You want to have a goal. You want to have the balance. And why do you want it? So you don't end up with an emotional breakdown because of things that are going wrong. Emotional breakdown. Woo, what did I do for that? I felt unloved. Now, what did I do? I created a very powerful affirmation of what I wanted. Not only what I wanted for the future, what I wanted for now. So what did I say? I am love. I'm the whole picture of love, and I am loved. I wrote it 100 times. I listened to it, recorded. I put it places. And I did that until I felt love, to the point that it doesn't matter where I am. Love is what I feel. And it's 10:30. I took too much time saying this.
No, it's all good.
Well, no, but I'm just going to repeat. Step 3, I know through the principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will seek expression through some practical means of obtaining the object back of it. So voila. That's
Voila.
exactly what we've been
Thank
talking
you. I'm
about. Bunch
stopping
of
the live.
links, everybody.